Why does changing literally just one sentence completely alter an AI's entire path of reasoning? I mean, think about it. Why can a machine solve seemingly impossible problems one moment and then completely fail at basic logic the very next? Look at how we interact with these systems every single day. Why do most people use AI like a glorified search engine instead of the most powerful intelligence amplifier ever created? The brutal truth here? If you're treating AI like a basic database, you are unknowingly crippling its actual capability. You are interacting with just a tiny fraction of its potential. So, what if I told you that prompt engineering isn't actually about typing the right code? What if, instead, prompt engineering is actually psychology for machines? You see, these systems don't understand the world the way you and I do. They predict patterns, which means prompting is infinitely less about typing instructions and entirely about cognitive structure. Okay, let's dive right into this. The insights in today's explainer, drawn from Nathan Hunter's Art of Prompt Engineering, reveal a profound shift. Prompt engineering is not about little tricks or life hacks. It's about how intelligence responds to structure, context, reasoning, and language. People think prompting is simple, right? Well, it isn't. It is literally the science of thinking itself. Let's look at a practical mystery here. On the left side, we have the generic beginner approach. Write a marketing plan. Do this, and the AI will hand you a delightfully boring, completely uninspired output. But on the right, a cognitively engineered approach. Act as a CMO. Analyze target demographics, define a three-phase strategy, and critique failure points. Suddenly, that exact same model spits out a deeply insightful, structurally sound document. So, how is this massive difference in output even possible from the exact same AI? Well, it all comes down to cognitive programming. You see, a beginner leaves ambiguities unresolved, so the AI just defaults to the most average, generalized response it can find. But an expert narrows the probability space. Every single prompt you write defines a temporary operating environment for the AI, its role, its constraints, its entire reasoning path. You aren't just writing an instruction anymore. You are designing a temporary cognitive system. You're turning AI into a programmable reasoning engine where human language literally becomes the infrastructure. And understanding this brings us to a genuinely shocking realization. Context completely overpowers raw intelligence. Just really think about that for a second. A mediocre AI model paired with excellent context will easily and consistently outperform a wildly powerful AI model that's just handed vague instructions. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why that happens. Context is the invisible hand guiding the machine. The context you provide dictates exactly what the AI pays attention to, the assumptions it makes before it even starts generating, the style it adopts, and most importantly, its depth of reasoning. So the real skill we're talking about here is context engineering. This is precisely why elite AI users spend vastly more time designing the information environment, the input, than they ever do editing the final output. But this leads us to an even stranger discovery about how AI actually mimics human perspective. Section 1. Role prompting and the power of identity. When you instruct the model to inhabit a specific role, whether you're telling it to be a scientist, a historian, a strategist, or a systems thinker, you aren't just playing make-believe. You are activating entirely different statistical patterns deep within that neural network. The AI fundamentally changes its communication style and its analytical framework. And what's so fascinating is that this reveals something profound about intelligence itself, right? Intelligence is highly contextual. I mean, humans work the exact same way. We think differently depending on the hat we're wearing, whether we're acting as a scrappy startup advisor or a strict university professor. Prompt engineering, in this light, becomes a deep study of cognitive perspective. Yet, despite knowing all of this, so many beginners fall into a very specific trap. It's what we call the myth of the perfect prompt. They obsess over writing this one, flawless, single-shot instruction, just hoping to magically strike gold the very first time they hit enter. Instead, advanced users operate completely differently. They work iteratively. They generate, they critique, refine, constrain, and then regenerate. This brilliantly illustrates that advanced prompting is actually a scientific workflow. You are rapidly exploring different possibility spaces. Because in the AI era, the ultimate advantage doesn't necessarily go to the smartest individual in the room, it goes to the fastest iterative learner who can effectively guide a machine through this very feedback loop. Which actually brings us to perhaps the most important philosophical truth in our entire explainer today. Clear thinkers become dramatically more powerful with AI. Confused thinkers scale confusion. AI does not simply automate your tasks for you, it amplifies your existing cognitive clarity. It is literally a mirror.
If your thoughts are messy, your prompt is going to be messy, and the AI will just return scaled-up chaos.
But when you actually have that mental clarity, wow, what happens then is incredible. A structured prompt massively accelerates your learning. It expands your creativity by pushing you right past your own personal biases. It compresses weeks of grueling research into literal minutes, it rapid-fires strategic options, simulates expert feedback, and allows you to literally externalize your own thinking. You are no longer working alone in a silo, you're collaborating in real time with a highly responsive intelligence. And because the stakes of this kind of clarity are just so incredibly high, we are now witnessing the evolution of an entirely new intellectual profession. Section 2, Cognitive Architects, the next intellectual profession. If we trace the history of human leverage, we see a clear pattern. In the industrial age, our leverage came from machines, raw physical power. In the information age, leverage came from software, computational power. Now, here in the AI age, leverage comes from cognitive orchestration. The highest value individuals of the future won't necessarily be your pure coders or your traditional writers. No, they will be the cognitive architects, the people who can seamlessly coordinate human thought, AI reasoning chains, and complex information ecosystems into one single coherent network of intelligence. Ultimately, the absolute deepest lesson here isn't really about controlling machines at all. It is applied philosophy for the age of AI. It forces us to confront a really uncomfortable truth. Most of us never formally learned how to structure our own thought clearly enough to instruct a pure, literal intelligence. For years, we've relied on other humans to just read between our lines and guess our intentions. Well, AI doesn't do that. So I want to leave you with this really stark reality to consider the next time you open up that text box. When you engage with artificial intelligence, are you just typing instructions, or are you structuring thought itself?